Okay, Kushama. So if you face any challenge, so let me know. Panel is here. They'll continue the interview.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Neha.
thank you.
Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yeah, hi Kusuma. Good evening.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning.
Before we start, can you give me a short introduction and of experience with Java?
Sure. So I'm holding around 9 years of working experience as a Java full stack developer. So I have been using, working on Java Springboot microservices, event-driven architecture. So far, I work with different domains like banking, transportation, automobile, and network systems. So I involved in like a end-to-end life cycle of software development that include like I involved uh, meeting with owners, business requirement, and the stakeholders, and I do requirement analysis. And my day-to-day activities include like code development, APS developments, and involved in the code reviews. And apart from that, I have a hands-on experience with both the SQL and NoSQL, such as I have been working with the Oracle, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, and DynamoDB. And for monitoring application, we have been using Splunk, ELK, and Spring Actuator. So, and we deploy our application on AWS Cloud Technologies, and we containerize our application using Docker and Kubernetes. So, these all are like skill stack I have been using over the years. Uh, yeah, that's all about
All
me.
right. So with AWS cloud also you have worked. What are the cloud services you have used in AWS?
So, I used EC2, S3, and we used Glacier, and suppose like we have been using AWS Lambda functions and SNS and SQs. And since like we are deploying our application through Docker and Kubernetes, we used AWS EKS as well.
So when will you choose Lambda function for your backend service instead of EC2?
Basically, when suppose like choose AWS Lambda when you need kind of a serverless and event-driven architecture with automatic scaling, like kind of Lambda function is kind of short-lived, and it's kind of a stateless functions triggered by events like API calls, file uploads, database changes. So, like if your application is not like continuously not required, and it requires only suppose like not much frequently, then you can go with AWS Lambda functions. So when it is alone, we can use that Lambda functions, and we can able to use that.
So how do you implement a Lambda function, Java and Spring and deploy in AWS?
So basically, to implement a Lambda function in Java, you need to create a handler class that will implement, the request handler interface, or it should, extend that request stream handler. So basically, this handler method process the input and the return the output, like typically we using that, Postgres or JSON. And so it will package your code and the dependencies into deployable jar file, and upload it to the jar to AWS Lambda with either console, CLA, or CI/CD pipeline.
Uh, you also have experience with multi-threading, concurrency, executor service.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have experience with the multi-threading concepts as well.
Uh, so can you tell me, like, suppose you have to calculate a very large array sum. You have an integer array, suppose 1 million integers. Okay, so you want to utilize suppose 10 threads to calculate the sum of that array. How will you implement this in Java?
Um, so okay,
Did you get the problem statement? Let me explain it.
yeah. So we need to use the 10 threads, right? For 1 million of like integers or whatever input. So in that case, basically, like we have a executor service framework. We can use that executor service framework to create a thread pool, like with 10 threads, and we can divide that the large array. Like suppose you said like it's a 1 million integer into kind of 10 equal parts. So each part assigned to that each thread. Since we are like creating that service executable service execute service work with the 10 threads, so each thread calculates the sum of its assigned subarray, and we can use that callable toss to return that partial sum from that each thread. Again, so after all threads execution, all thread completes their work, it will combine that partial sums from like futures to get the total sum. It's kind of it uses for join or else divide and conquer kind of design pattern. So finally, after it's a completes all the execution and combine the result, it will shut down that executor service. So basically, yeah, this approach
So
does not use.
how do you combine the result? You created thread pool with 10 threads. Okay, you assign the partial sums. You divide split the array into 10 separate chunks. And how do you ensure like once all thread execute, you get the consistent result after all threads have done their work? How do you ensure that thing?
So basically, yeah, so it uses that, execute a service with a callable task that return that, the partial sums. And once it will collect that future objects when submitting the task. And it will call that future that get method on each future. So which,
Yeah,
blocks
that's
the.
fine. Individually, 10 threads will calculate 10 chunks of sum. But how do I combine them?
Um,
All right,
okay.
let's leave about executor service. Suppose you don't have executor service. You are working some prior version of Java, like simple multi-threading features. How you can achieve that without executor service? How will you do that?
Um, so without executor service, in basic basically like we use that basic thread class to create thread and run manually, right? So basically when you like we have the couple of methods for the internal thread communication, so we can use that thread dot join. So the main method to wait for all thread to finish their execution. So after all the threads complete, combine that the partial sums stored in the shared data, shared data structure to get the final result. So usually it uses the thread dot join method.
Okay, so for inter-thread communication, you mean to say like wait, notify, those methods. You're aware of their working, right? Wait, notify all. Right? So suppose you have to implement a producer consumer using wait and notify method. How will you implement that? And you have to use you can use a queue as a buffer, okay, for storing the product. Then how will you implement that using multi-threading?
So yeah, it using wait. Okay, producer and consumer. So we can use that shared queue as the buffer, the between the producer and consumer thread. So the producer threads adds items to the queue. The consumer thread removes the items. So it kind of like a synchronous access to the queue using asynchronous block on the shared queue object. So let's say like in the producer side, while the queue is a full, for example, it reaches the maximum size, it will call that q dot method sorry q dot wait method to release the lock and wait. So when the space is available and the it will add that product to that queue, and then it will call that notify call method to wake up the waiting consumer threads. So in the consumer side, so while the queue is empty, so it will call that wait method to wait for the products. So when the products are available, remove it will remove that an item from the queue. So it's kind of like after that we'll call that notify all method to wake up that all waiting threads. So that's how like they communicate with each other with using wait method and notify all inside synchronous block to ensure that the proper coordination.
All right. Can you share your screen? I will give you one small Java.
1 second, yeah.
You can use any online compiler. Can you give me one problem in the chat?
Are you able to see the screen
One second.
now?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Go to chat. Click on hide here.
Okay.
So I have given you a simple problem. Try to understand it. If any doubt, I will explain.
Okay. Given two strings S1 S2, write a function that returns true if this is a subsequence of S2. Okay. Otherwise, return false S2.
So you can assume all characters are in lowercase. Okay. So it is not case sensitive.
Okay.
Small a, big A, capital A, not make any difference. Your name is Kusuma, right? I take H2 as Kusuma. Then even if I pass as ESW,
Okay. Java online compare. I'm just copying this code, otherwise I need to switch the tabs.
so you understood the problem, right?
Yes, yes.
What is to be achieved? That you understood.
So basically, the goal is to determine if S1 is the substring of S2.
Not the substring in a traditional Java manner. Subsequence kind of. Substring is group of continuous characters. In your name Kusum, you will get true if I do Kusum dot contains KU, KUS, KUSU. Right?
Okay.
Here you can ignore the other characters which are not in S1. Only you have to ensure that sequence of characters as is in S1 should be in S2 also. Even then it should be true. Right? So you have to write a special type of contains method.
Okay, so I'm just writing that the subsequence method or the boolean return. Um, so which will accept that two string inputs. One second. So I'm just to make sure everything is in lowercase. So
Don't write. Just assume. Just assume that assumption you can. Right. We will pass only such inputs which are in lowercase. So no need to write this extra line. It's concentrated on main logic.
so all are in
Already,
lowercase.
already it is given, and we will ensure also while sending the input, right? So no need for this.
Okay, let's say live. Okay, I need so we can iterate to just using while loop. So file less than s1 dot length and I'm checking just checking that the length of each one. Okay. Yes. What? So we can increment the element. So s1 dot length is to dot length. Comparing that to two characters, C++ JL. So after that, and return just
All right, your logic seems to be correct. What is the time complexity of this solution?
sorry.
What is the time complexity of this program?
So here we're using two inputs. So it's a O of n. This value is like a while loop, and it has to iterate through.
So what is n?
Um, it's kind of like you can say You can say it's a number of iterations.
All right. So you have worked in microservices also, right? Microservice architecture. So what is the use of API gateway? Microservice architecture. What all things you can do at API gateway level?
So API gateway is like a design pattern, like there like it act as like a entry point of your application. Suppose when the user hit the like suppose they click on that hit some request. So instead of it is going to that each like in traditional approach, like it
Okay, this
has
is
to go.
the one is the routing you use. Other things API gateway.
Other
Other things.
yeah, it can handle that security. It can handle that logging kind of things. Security checking and the logging, it will do that all
O-
the things and
Okay,
everything.
what is API throttling?
API is kind of application program interface, so it will exchange
No, I
like
am
it will
asking
connect to
API throttling. Is API throttling?
sorry, API throttling. Um
Or you can say what is API rate limiting? Are you aware of like different mechanism of API rate limiting, different
yes,
algorithms?
yeah, so API rate limiting is a part of suppose like when you like suppose the multiple users trying to access your application. So do you want provide that favorism for the all the users? So you can limit that like how many requests can the hit by the person like by the user. So that's why you can reduce that API abusing, and you can
So what are
equally
what are
I mean
different rate limiting algorithms? Are there?
um so rate limiting algorithms. So usually, yeah, sorry, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't remember that exact
It's fine.
algorithm. So
It's fine.
we do like
So
use the
are you aware of different caching strategies?
caching.
Yeah, caching you know, right?
Sorry, I couldn't able to hear it
Caching,
properly.
caching you know, right? Caching like
Caching,
YVD.
caching. Yes,
So,
yes,
so
yes.
are you
So
also aware of different caching strategies like write behind cache, read through cache? There are multiple caching strategies are there depending on the nature of replication, keeping in mind strong consistency, eventual consistency, high availability.
so you are asking about caching mechanism, right?
Yes. Different caching.
Yeah. So yeah, in my recent project, we used that Redis caching, where we can able to I mean we can able to reduce that DB calls. So there is like there is like a couple of things like sorry, you asked about strong consistent and eventual consistency, right? So basically
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever.
sorry so yeah, so basically we have used Redis caching in our application, like where we like integrate our like in Fifth Third Bank, like we have integrated with the third party vendorship for the key management system. So there we like instead of hitting that that particular URL for wrap that keys with data keys. So use that the caching mechanism to able to at least once that hit that particular vendorship KMS URL, so we can able to reuse that the same page for the given particular time. So for that we used we used to set up that caching time frame with using like environment variables and through that Docker one.
Okay, how do you handle distributed transaction management, microservices?
Distributed transaction management. So yeah, so basically here,
Yeah.
like here we use that Spring transaction mechanism. So basically, what will it do, right? It will treat that every it will treat that whole method. It's kind
Sprint
of a
transaction,
single in.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Sprint transaction mechanism will work only when you are in single JVM. But distributed transaction means like when you have to manage transactions across servers, different JVMs. So you have to utilize some Saga pattern or something like that with use of Kafka or event-driven
Oh,
architecture like that. So
okay, for the event
are you
driven.
aware of the
Okay.
Saga pattern?
Yeah, Saga pattern. I didn't use it. I mean, we didn't
Your
use it,
voice
but
is breaking in between.
yeah, I think your voice is also something breaking in between. Like, you are making the sentence. That's why I couldn't able to.
No, no, for your
It,
side, there's some network interruption.
uh,
Well, you can explain
then
Saga pattern. You you know Saga pattern?
yeah, I am aware of that Saga pattern. So basically, like a kind of like in the transaction management, when you were like the multiple services are trying to do something on do something on that for example, in our banking applications we do have to communicate to the each services, and we do have to transaction the things without duplicacy and without missing that the data. So we use that saga. So we can use the saga pattern where we can able to make sure we don't lose the any data like while the services couple of services are using that are doing that same kind of transaction. And it's kind of give that idempotency assurance.
Mhm. Okay, you have worked with Springboot also, right? Can you give me any example like where as a developer, in a real world example, you will make your bean as prototype. Prototype is for bean you will create. Any example can you give?
um so yeah, so example for the prototyping. So by default, Spring Boot use that as singleton. So for the
Mhm.
particular prototype, space bean means like the new instance of the bean will be created every time when we request it a request from the container. So the real world example, suppose we have the service that process that user request and maintain some kind of temporary state. You know, okay, temporary
So
state or
any real world object oriented example.
real world example means like we can take that bank account system. So in that bank account, the bank account can be the class with the properties like for example account number, balance, and account holder. So it may have the methods like a deposit, withdraw, check balance, and kind of. So basically, it encapsulates a behavior of, related to that account. So when you create that multiple objects like of the bank account class, so each representing a different customer's account within its own state. So yeah. So in
All right. I am giving you one more problem in the chat. Try to write code for this. Just try to the chat.
Given an array of negative numbers, each number tells the maximum number of steps you can jump. Okay. Array of non-negative numbers, each number tells you can jump from the position. You can jump to I plus 1, I plus 2. You can jump to index I plus 1, I plus 2, or I plus 3. If array of you cannot jump from that position. Okay. Only
Were you able to understand the problem? I have given you few examples also.
if array of I is equal to 3. Okay, suppose one of the element is if 3, we can jump to index I plus 1. Suppose if it is 0 the position, so it will jump to 0 plus 1. Sorry, if it is like at one position, like 1 plus 1, 2, 3. So it suppose like if the input 3 is at index suppose at a 4, so you can jump to index I plus 1 means like 4 plus 1, 4 plus 2. So like the 3
Yeah,
value.
whatever the any value with any given index, so that is the maximum you can jump that many number. But you can jump less also, right? If suppose at some index value is 5, so you can either jump with from there 1, 2, 3, 4, or maximum 5. You cannot jump to 6. That is the meaning, right? So any
Yeah,
number at any given index indicates maximum how much you can jump. It's your choice. You can jump less also, right? That is the meaning. Getting idea like how you get it.
okay, let's say. Oh, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's start. Minimum chance. So do you want me return that the number of jumps are right? What do you want me
Yes,
return? Right?
minimum jumps, right? Minimum.
Okay.
If not possible, -1. But what are the minimum jump?
Um, and pass the array here. Okay. So I'm checking whether it is null or it is less than 1 length. If it is, we can return 0 in that case. And then suppose here is equal to 3. If array is equal to 0, it cannot jump over. Then if we can check the first position is a 0, then we can return same. And -1. Okay, I can pass return -1. Then the chunk is called initially zero. And everything is zero for now. Okay, we need to check the current zero initial zero. We write down into maximum steps. Objectives. Jump based on input. Okay, current, let's say we can current, then we can update. We call jumps plus and we are updating this one as well. And then what if it's not? We need to check or not. It is greater than. You said like if it is reaches to 6, we need not. Okay, then we can check this one and break that loop. This we can jump to the index A plus 1 plus 2. Jump in this one. Okay, find the minimum. What we can is not moving forward. We shouldn't reach the end. Like this, we can Current is index. If it is before the last index, we need to check it. Let's say just I'm just writing. Current. So iterating the loop, and we're checking if it is reached to end of the current one, and increasing, and we are checking if it is greater than. Yeah, as per my understanding, this is the approach we can do.
Can you pass that array, first array, 1359? That yeah, Kusuma, are you trying with the? No, all right, okay, so
Then, did you ask me anything?
no. Try to run the program.
Sorry. Mm, Legal sort of expression at 48.
What is the syntax error here?
Yeah, I'm checking it at 48. Okay.
So that I is not reachable there, or I is local variable in for loop. What is the
Yeah,
comparison error?
1 second. It's a illegal startup expression. Passing. Okay, this one.
Maybe some braces problem. I think we spoke to
Yeah, this one is closed.
it's inside another video.
This one is closed. Sorry, did you say anything?
No, I am also with you. I am also identifying. I am also checking. Try to resolve the compilation error.
Yeah.
Okay, paste that in idea or something.
Already. 1 second.
Or try to resolve it here only. Shouldn't be a big deal. Let's be on the screen.
Okay, 1 second. First if condition, it's a return 0. Next if condition, it's a return and inputs, and it's a for loop. In the for loop, we have the first if condition, jumps plus, and this one closed. Why? Okay, 1 second.
1 second. 1 second.
This one is a method. So 1 second. This one it's a closed one, it's a return type. Okay. Then
Yeah, because farthest is defined inside the block. No, that's
oh sorry, not this one. It's a spelling mistake, I guess.
farthest.
End up a file processing. This
This is
is
definitely braces.
oh 1 second, 1 second. I guess this is a for loop, right? We need to close
For loop,
here.
method, and class. Okay. So for loop closing. One more curly braces required, I think, in the end.
I added it, I guess.
Then I think because after return jump, this I think method closing. Okay, it's such a method closing. No, okay, then class closing. Where the for loop is closing, there itself, like 47 it's closing. No, for loop is I think for loop should close at line 58.
58.
Or before that, I don't know experimental logic. But yeah, definitely one brace is missing.
I think you can say this is a for loop one. This is if condition closing. This is another condition. This is the other one. Then we are closing. Okay. Yeah, I think mm, reaching end of the file processing. One second. This is overall. Oh, okay. Illegal startup expression. Why? So this is method closing. So we are returning this one. And first method, first step, next step. Let's say next for loop. For loop also closing properly. This is a condition. Next step condition. Okay, 1 second. This is the main method. This is a class one. So closing the class. I think everything is fine. Seems. Okay, this one is okay. Well, let's see what if I not using this one. Oh, sorry, LIGTH. LINGTH. What is? Sorry, it's kind of spelling mistakes. Okay, it's a -1. Now what if I use this one? Why? Farthest ever reach?
I think this equal to and this is a gap.
Oh yeah,
Because of that,
yeah,
this
yeah. You're
space
right. I got it. I think I'm.
should be together. I think there should not be space between left arrow and equal sign.
Yeah, yeah. I gave that a space in between this one. That's why it's showing error.
That's one. What is simple? You should get 3, right?
Where I need to add 3.
Output you should get 3, right?
It's,
You paste your solution in the chat, particularly compile right? Paste in the chat.
yeah. I'm copying it.
What's it?
Let me check that another.
So your output should come 3, right? It is coming -1, right?
Yeah, I'm checking. That's why I'm checking the input as well.
All right, no issue. We are well past the time. We are well ahead of the time. All right. Thanks, Kushuma. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for your time.